welcome to my channel. This is an impromptu video because the last week when I filmed the New Testament, Matthew 1 and 2, as I was editing the video, I was picking up some things that God wanted for me to talk to you about. They were really strong in my spirit and I couldn't get it done, obviously, because I had to do that video. And then this week that I had problems with my dog, and I'll show you here a clip that my dog is 12, she'll be 13 in October, and she's a King Charles Spaniel breed, and these dogs have problems with their heart. And obviously Muffin now has gotten this problem with her heart where she has been found to have a heart murmur. So I've been really busy running around with her this week and couldn't get this video done. So now that she's on medication, and thank God, I mean, God is an awesome God. I just want to praise him because he came through for me this week. He opened this Red Seas the day before the hurricane. I couldn't get a vet to see her. Everybody was 2 weeks out, and I live in a very rural area. So for me, I have to know where I'm going. I can't go from one place to the next because it could be 20 miles, 30 miles for me to get to a doctor. So finally, I think I was at my wit's end. It was about 1:15 in the afternoon. And I called this place, and she told me, no, I don't have anything. Just as I was ready to hang up, she said, wait a minute, can you come in at 3:45? And I said, I'll come in at whatever time you want, and I'll stand there all day and wait for her if I have to. And she said, well, come in at 3:45, and I got her in. So God just, it was like parting the Red Seas for me. And Muffin got in, and she got her heart medication, which she's on right now. So I've been concentrating on making sure that she gets them on the right schedule, and her inflammation goes down in her heart that she has, and then she also has, I think, accumulated water in her lungs. So they're also giving her a diuretic for that. So once she stabilizes, then we'll try to find alternatives for her that are a little bit more natural than what she's taking now, which is pretty hard. She gets pretty thirsty, and she's drinking a lot of water, and she's also getting me up 4 times a day, 4 times in the evening to go to the bathroom. So I don't mind. I love her. She's my dog, and I promise that I'm going to be here for her till the end of her life and me just make her happy. So I don't mind caring for her. I love her so much. So anyway, let's get to some of the things I want to talk about. I didn't want to put it in the video this Sunday because some of you may not really care about this, and it's just going to add so much time to my video. So I want to make sure that we stay on track with Matthew. So I know I had a question about the betrothal when I talked about it last week, and I just assumed that people would know that these things weren't, that when I say they're living together, obviously they're not living in a house alone. Because I mean, we had chaperones up until the 80s, I think, because I know my parents wanted to chaperone me because they're old-fashioned, but that's what they wanted to do. So but basically betrothal was paying a dowry for the girl. So the guy had to pay something to the family in the way of gifts or something of value to the family, and a lot of people didn't have the money, so they had to work to provide that dowry to the parents, right? And how do we know this stuff? We have to be really careful when we go to websites and look for things. We have to be able to discern. And how is it that we can discern what's true and what's not on the websites, or what could have changed over a span of 1,000 years? Because remember, the Bible, back from Genesis all the way to where we're at now, lots of years have passed, and things could have changed, traditions could have changed, routines could have changed. So we have to make sure that we are in line with the things that we're reading in the Bible. So when I read the part about betrothal, I also referred to 3 that came up to me in my mind of all the things that we've read recently. So the 3 are Isaac and Rebekah, and that was in Genesis, I have some notes here, Genesis 24, Jacob and Rachel, which was in Genesis 29:15. There are several things there about that, going 15 and forward. And then of course there's the one of Sodom and Gomorrah, which really spoke to me because in Sodom and Gomorrah in chapter 19 in Genesis, I remember reading where the Lot had 4 daughters, and 2 of them were married. They were not living in the tent house where they lived. And the 2 daughters that eventually had sex with Lot later on, they were betrothed to these boys, and these boys were in the house. And this that particular day when he went to get them, they were outside. So I understand from this that the boys were living there. They were probably paying for the dowry in work to the father. And we can confirm that because we know that in the story of Jacob and Rachel, it was, remember that Jacob had to do the same. He had to pay Laban to marry her. He had to pay the dowry, and it was 7 years that he had to wait for her. So he was paying for that. So we know that we can trust the Bible for discernment, for, you know, the truth. So we know that the betrothal is about families combining, joining together, because this is going to be a solid union and a commitment, and they want to make sure that everybody agrees and gets along and everything works out here. So of course these people are supervised. They're not just in the house alone. They're definitely supervised. There's always someone there. It's like an engagement. He's always there. He was probably working and doing stuff to help out the father and the family to pay for the dowry. I doubt if he had money. The Bible doesn't tell us if he was wealthy, if he had a lot of money, he was able to pay the dowry for her. So we have to come to our own conclusions sometimes in the Bible, with also understanding the Jewish, the Hebrew law as well. But we also have to have discernment, because some people could give you law, but it might have not been the law during that particular time, and maybe over time it changed a little bit. So that's just what I wanted to say about that. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was, as I was editing my video, God spoke really hard to me, strong to me, about this situation with Herod. Okay, so with Herod, we know that he was not a good king. He was vengeful. He was angry. He was basically vindictive, because what we learned about was that the wise men did not come back as he had expected them to. And that's when he got into his rage, and we talked about that, and he decided to go ahead and kill all the baby boys under 2 years old. But I said to myself, okay, so here's two extremes of obedience. Here's Joseph when God tells him, get up and go, and he obeys. So how many people did we have that lived under Herod's rule who could have heard from God, who didn't do what he said? Where God said, you need to leave here. We don't know those stories. They're not presented in the Bible. But there could have been those people there. And they were questioning God, or they were like, no, we're not going to do this because our stuff is here. We live here. You know, we're happy here. Or we submit to this king. Whatever is this. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, this happens in our world too today, where, you know, God is trying to move us. God is trying to tell us, you know what, you need to change your lifestyle. This is not going to work for you. And we're seeing this in our society right now. The breakup of our educational system, the breakup of politics in certain states, and things are getting dangerous in some areas. And God may be telling you, you need to leave that job. You need to move. You need to get out of there. You have money. You have an IRA that you can pull money from, and you need to get out. You should be homeschooling your kids. And if you go to an area where you don't have to spend as much, you're going to be fine. You're going to be better. Your kids are going to be safer. We have to really look at these lessons in the Bible. That's why it's so important to read them and really put them into our life and say, okay, God has been leading me, but, you know, I don't know how I'm going to make a living. I can't just quit my job. Well, you got to come up with a plan, because if God is leaning you to that and you're pretty sure that God is leading you, but you're still walking on how am I going to do this, then maybe you need to have some quiet time of reflection and say, okay, how could I do this? If I was God, if I was going to obey you and do this, let me sit down and put the plan in motion. How can I do this? What can I do? This. How much can I get for my property stuff? How much can I get for the house? Put things into motion. You have to at least be walking in faith. And that's an act of faith right there, when you're saying, okay, God, stop. Is this too much for me? I need to process this. I will obey you, but give me a second. Let me sit down and show me everything. And whatever I can't get an answer from, at least put in my heart your presence so that I can move in faith. Even though everything looks good, but there's that one spot on my paper that doesn't make sense. It's there's no answer to that. Just give me that in my heart, the peace that what I'm doing, all the other things are going to work, but that one is not, but give me that. So you need to pray to God for those things, but sit down and really reflect. This is the word for me this year. For me, the word is reflection year. Everything about this year has been about really sitting with God and listening to him, to the point that when I travel now, I don't even turn on the radio. I don't talk on the phone. Most of the time I don't talk on the phone. And I'm just driving in the rain or driving. I'm not listening to podcasts. I am in total quiet in my car when I'm driving because I'm listening. I'm talking to God. I'm praying. I'm thanking him. I'm worshiping him for some of the things that come to mind of the great things he's done for me, or the promises, or the things that he has said to me, or the things he's given to me or blessed me with, the friends that I've had. So those are the things that I do when I'm in quiet time with him. It's not necessarily sitting there singing Our Father who art in heaven, but kind of have a fellowship conversation with him. It's so important that we really have to take more time in our life to sit down and listen to that voice that's trying to tell us, get out of there. Get out of there. Your kids are in danger. Your family is in danger. And you need to get out. And how many people could have been living under Hera that God could have told them, get out, and they didn't listen. They didn't listen. So I hope that you are not one of those. I really hope that this story kind of shows you that perspective of that. So this was a short video this week. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to be posting my Bible study on Saturday. I've been posting it on Saturday so that you, if you're following on the Sabbath like I am, that's kind of like my rest day, my study day, my day to be with God. You can hopefully also have the day so that you can also watch the Bible studies. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's been truly a blessing that a lot of people are watching these videos now. So I'm super excited about, we're going to have an exciting time this week in Matthew 3 and 4. And then we're going to get to 5 next week, which is, I believe is the Sermon on the Mount, which is going to be super exciting. So stay with me. Please subscribe. If you like my videos, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, because it gets the word out that, you know, you like these Bible studies and you think that they're good enough for other people to come on board and listen to, because they help you during the week reflect on many of the things that I'm talking about. So if you do, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I'd love to bring more people in to our little circle here at Simply Living the Word. And I hope you have a wonderful week. God bless all of you. I'll see you back on Saturday. Bye-bye.